welcome to Adam's Woodbed. On this channel, we explore my journey to learn woodworking. On this week's episode, I'm going to show you how I built this mobile table saw stand for $30 in a day's time. It's working great. I'm pretty pleased with it. I had some bumps. Like I said, I'm a beginner, so take all this stuff with a grain of salt because I'm probably just as new, if not newer than you are. But I hope this video helps you. If you're looking for kind of a solution for one of these mobile table saws, this was a cheap solution. Like I said, I'm just trying to get my shop set up. I would like to do something more permanent in the future, but for now, I'm looking for cheap. I'm looking for easy to put together that's going to make it so I don't have to do this all the time. And you can see during this video, I'm hunched over quite a bit. My back took quite the brunt doing it, and that's the goal of this. I want everything up so that I can actually be working in a comfortable position and not killing myself. And then we'll start to get into some more interesting topics. But if you are looking for a super simple, cheap way just to mount your mobile construction table saw, this is it's working out great, it's sturdy. Stay tuned. Okay, so you can see here that I'm going to get started on building this little crate. And like I showed you on one of the other videos, I built this little box on SketchUp, and this is what I'm kind of going for. And I took some measurements, and these are just my handwritten things. I want the total thing to be 3 feet high. I have casters, which are 3 3/4 of an inch. That means that I want the height on this frame to be 16.5 inches. Okay, so I have set up a guard on my miter saw, which is a temporary thing. I'd like to get something more, just do it. But I've kind of set it up here so that I can do repeatable cuts. And I've measured 16 3/4 of an inch, so it's a little bit long. I can adjust it later, and I've made sure that that is square. And so I can set it up for repeatable cuts. So I need 4 of these. I'm going to need 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we go. So next I'm going to mill those 4 pieces down. I had taken some rough measurements, but I was using 2 inches. I would like it to be square, 23 by 23. So we have to get the true measurements of those boards in order to accurately cut the middle pieces. So I'm going to mill these down. I'm going to get a flat edge on both sides. I'm going to run it through the planer and then see what we're at and redo our math. So I'm going to use the jointer here. I start off doing the faces, and then I turn the face against the fence so that it's parallel, and then I do the sides. I actually ended up doing both sides, but I didn't have to because I ended up using the table saw anyways. But I did it, and they turned out great, and I'm quite happy with it. Then I'm running this through the planer, looking to get a uniform thickness. So I have this milled down now. I'm very happy. So we are definitely just over 1 1/4 inches on those. So I am going to continue to thickness plane them until they are all 1 1/4 inches, and that's what I've decided to go with. So here I am running the boards through the planer, trying to get the thickness the way I want it. I'm really happy with this tool also, and you can see my wife taking off. So now I have my stop block set up to make my final cut for 16.5 inches long. All the 4 pieces are planed down to 1 1/4 inches, so everything is nice and square, flat, beautiful. So now we're going to make our final cut to make that 16.5 inches long. So next, we have determined with our new measurements that in fact we are not working with 2-inch pieces, we are working with 1 1/4 pieces. So through the power of math, we have determined that the space in between here and here is 20.5 inches. So we're going to make 4. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually going to cut 6. Because the purpose of this, which I didn't do in the SketchUp, is to mount this. Okay, so we have clips, okay, that come down here, and it goes on an angle. So we're actually going to make a piece, okay, that comes up on an angle. We're going to have to figure out that angle, but we're going to make a piece that sits on top of the support that this can screw into. That's the plan, anyways. So I'm going to cut 6 of those, because what I want to do is I want to have the 2 supports, and then I want to have 2 other ones coming through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 at 20.5. So I'll jot that down, but that's what we're going to do. 6 pieces at 20.5. So next I'm going to cut down my pieces to their true size. Now that I have these milled down to the lengths and the thicknesses that I want them. Just to show you how I do this, or how I am doing this, I've measured here 20.5 inches, okay, from here to here. So what I do is I set it there, and I bring the blade down, and now that I have this zero clearance fence set up, I can see that that's where I'm going to have my cut. Okay, you can see that just before the line the blades are finishing, and the reason that these zero clearance fences are so great is you can actually see where the fence stops, and that's actually the length of the blade. Okay, so all I do is after I have that, I set it, and I bring this stop block over, clamp it, so I can get a repeatable cut. So all of them are going to be identical. Even if my measurement is off by a 16th or 32nd or whatever, all of them are going to be identical. So I'm going to do that, and we'll be right back. So it has just hit me that we know that all of this is off, and I want to be able to make a couple of these. So the next step is what I'm going to do is I'm looking at my plan here, and I'm realizing that if these are not all the same, if these are not all the same width on the long side, these aren't going to fit right. So what I'm going to do is I've kind of measured, and they're just shy of 3.5 inches, each of these boards. So I am going to rip them on the table saw down to 3 1/4 inch. That way everything is uniform and everything's going to fit together real nice. So here I am ripping those pieces through the table saw. And hopefully next time this thing is raised off the ground, it is going to be great. Look at how far hunched over I am. Okay, so we are back. We've ripped all those down to 3.5 inches. Okay, so now all these pieces are 3.5 inches. And I'm glad I caught that, because this would have made this off if all of these were different. Slightly, right? It wouldn't have been square, it would have ended up off. So now we have each one of these pieces, all of them are 3.5 exactly. So through the power of math, we have now figured out that in order to make 20, we're making 23 by 23. Okay, so this whole length is going to be 23. If we have 3.5, 3.5, 7 minus 23 is 16. Okay, so now we need 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces at 16 inches. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to mill that wood. We've already seen all this, so I'm not going to refilm it. I'm going to cut them on the miter saw. Then I'm going to, plane them down and rip them down to the proper thicknesses and lengths, and then we'll be back. Okay, so next we are doing pocket hole joints. I've got this K5, and I'm not sure if I'm not doing it right, but it was more difficult than I anticipated.
It also doesn't help that I'm bending over. My back is starting to hurt. So I did get the base together. The pocket holes were more challenging than I thought they were going to be. So I am going to do a time lapse now. I think I've got it somewhat understanding. So it is what it is. I'll talk a little bit more about it during the time lapse.
So here I am with my first attempt with pocket holes. Now I need to say something here. I alluded to that I was having some trouble. I constructed the first part of this off camera, as you can see. The K5 that I bought, I believe to be faulty. The clamp is not actually clamping properly. The ratchet, I believe, is put on backwards. There's a little metal track, which I will cover in another video in depth. I have a call in to Craig. We'll see how they handle it. I'm going to get a chance to see how Craig's customer service is. But the clamping mechanism there is not actually clamping the wood. It's slipping. You can see me pick it up several times in this clip. I'm trying to get it to clamp properly, and it just won't. It doesn't put any type of force on the board, which was giving me quite a problem. You can see that I did get it though. So here it is, guys, the completed table. You can see that I have rolling casters. The tabletop is screwed in with 45-degree blocks. I think I'm going to pan down here first to show you that I made some chocks for the wheels so that it doesn't move. You can also see there that the 45-degree angles I have screwed and countersunk into the top of the tables. And then the table saw is screwed through its holes into those 45-degree blocks. And again, I'm looking at the chocks. This is keeping the table from sliding. Does a great job. Just a piece of wood cut at a 45, put it underneath the wheels, and it doesn't move. It doesn't budge while I'm working with it. Cheap option, guys. It's working great. I'm very happy with it. And now I have a table saw stand. Super cheap, super simple. I hope this video has helped you, and
I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video of Adam's Woodbin. I had a good time making it. It's given me some confidence. I've kind of learned some things. It's given me a little bit more confidence to take on something else the next time. If you like this video, please comment, like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to make a comment, suggest on something I could do next, that would be real helpful to me as well. I'm happy with this project. There's going to be more to come. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Adam's Woodbin.